What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Bring you Ravens content every single day. If you want to stay updated with Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. Now, in this video, it is the first time all season we are doing this. If you did not know, Joshua and I love to do scouting on different players, and we did so much stuff in the offseason going into the draft in who the Ravens should draft, going through all the rounds and everything like that. But this is kind of like our way too early before the end of the season, before we've done our full research and everything like that. The NFL draft order was kind of announced, like what it would be if it was today. And the Ravens were sitting at pick 16. And Joshua and I were like, you know what? That's a great spot to be picking if the Ravens aren't going to make the playoffs. Obviously, I hope that the Ravens make the playoffs, but we wanted to kind of get a little bit of draft talk to keep us away from talking about all of the injuries that the Ravens have going on, because it's kind of depressing when all you hear about with the Ravens is, oh, this guy's got COVID. This guy's out for the year. This guy's hurt again. It's really annoying to hear about that all the time. So let's talk about some potential players for the Baltimore Ravens. Joshua, do you want to start us off? If the Ravens drafted today, is there a guy that you think they should target and go after?
Okay, so before I even give off any names, I know I was talking highly about Darion Canard from University of Kentucky. He is not going to be in this year's draft. He's actually coming. He actually returned back for his senior year. So big ups to him. That's going to up his stock. And you love to see when those guys continue working on their craft. But us currently, if the season was over, if we were sitting at 16, they're saying our biggest needs is defensive tackle, O lineman, and linebacker. Now, linebacker, we can argue about that. I feel like cornerback should be that third pick. But let's be honest. If the plan is to re-sign Lamar Jackson, we're going for offensive tackle. Now, the offensive tackle I will be going for at number 16 is Daniel Falehi. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ravens Flock, if I said his last name incorrectly. He's a University of Minnesota Gopher. He's 6'9". I want to say he's about 380 pounds. He is a big guy at the right tackle. I mean, we had a big mammoth in Orlando Brown Jr. when he was at right tackle. So bringing someone of that same caliber, but also with a little bit more of blocking ability and also better reach against edge rushers, that would definitely help us out a lot, on that right side. Because at the end of the day, we have been an ailing offensive line this year. And we need to get younger, we need to get stronger, and we need to be more cohesive. I don't believe our starting O-line did not play a down until week 1 of the regular season. So if we can get all of our guys healthy, and honestly, Ben Cleveland will be in the starting rotation next year. Just got to put it out there. So, but Daniel Flay, he would definitely bring a big upgrade to that right tackle position. So that's who I would be picking at number 16.
Yeah, it's so tough because right now it's like trying to figure out where guys will go.
Absolutely.
Like, I think a lot of people may think Falehi may fall, but at the same time, if he's a guy that has a great combine, his size and his draft profile, he could easily be a first round pick and things like that. And so that's the cool part about doing this very early is like we get to find those guys that we think could rise and fall on the draft boards. And I think going offensive tackle wouldn't be a bad move in any of the offensive lineman positions. If the Ravens wanted to go center, if they wanted to go guard, if they wanted to go offensive tackle, I would not be against it. And I love, I'm with you. I really don't know how to pronounce his name, Falele or whatever it is.
Right.
I would love him. I remember when I was watching Rashad Bateman tape before we even drafted him, and I'm watching Minnesota, and I was like, who is that guy?
Right.
Like, forget, I was like not even focusing on Bateman half the time. I was like, oh, this guy's huge. And he obviously played well. I would definitely have to scout him a little bit more. But in my opinion, I feel like the Ravens, my draft strategy, I've talked about this before on stream, is I think that the Ravens should spend their money on offense, sign an offensive tackle, sign probably maybe a guard, and do all that stuff. Spend your money on the offense and draft defense. Get a young defense.
Okay.
And with that, the Ravens would have to let some guys go. They would not be able to pay Marcus Peters, I don't think. They would not be able to pay probably an Anthony Averett type. Maybe they could pay Averett, but they probably wouldn't pay Peters. Calais could walk. Brendan Williams could walk.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
Deshaun Elliott would probably walk. So I think Ravens losing a lot of secondary players. The Ravens have to go with a secondary player that fits what the Ravens are trying to do, assuming they keep Wink Martindale, which is play press man coverage. And there's no better press man corner in college football than the man with the best name in college football. Well, best nickname in Sauce Gardner.
I like that.
Sauce Gardner. His name's actually Ahmad Gardner, but everybody calls him Sauce. 6'3", 210 pounds. Never allowed a touchdown at Cincinnati. He started there all 3 years of his career. Started as a freshman. Now he's a junior. He only has 2 penalties so far this year. He is a lockdown, physical, big body corner that goes after the football and excels in man coverage. That is what the Ravens need their corners to do. Be physical, stay with their man, and have athleticism. Now, he's not the greatest athlete of all time, but he could maybe run a 4.4, 4.5 is probably where he would be, but he's strong, he's physical, and he can go after the ball, and that's what the Ravens need. You know, if they lose a Marcus Peters, they need somebody that can get the ball, but also somebody that's not going to just get burnt and toasted and things like that, where we don't need it to the Marcus Peters level, because Marcus Peters is like, it's similar to Trayvon Diggs this year, where it's like Trayvon Diggs, 11 interceptions, also allowed the most yards in coverage. I mean, I'm no disrespect to Trayvon Diggs. He's a great player. But I would much rather have a guy with the Ravens defense that isn't giving up as many yards, even if it does sacrifice a couple of interceptions. Get a guy that'll get some picks, but not allow those monster plays and can play physical. And I think Sauce Gardner is exactly that guy. But then, of course, if the Ravens go corner, I do still think they will draft offensive tackle, draft offensive lineman, and draft all those other positions. But Joshua, what do you think about the Ravens going after Sauce Gardner, who Todd McShay released his first-round mock draft, and I think Sauce went 15th overall. So could very well be in the realm of the Ravens draft selection. But if he has a great combine, he could go top 10 potentially. So and if he plays well against Alabama, we'll see.
I was about to say, now, so Iowa, Kentucky, they played January 1st. Alabama and Cincinnati, they played the 31st, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we got a couple games to look out for sure, because Tyler Linderbaum, center, he plays for Iowa. I think he's going this year's draft as well. I'm not taking nothing away from Bradley Bozeman. Bradley Bozeman is a versatile guy. He definitely did his part. Big shout outs to him. I hope we definitely work out that contract extension, in this offseason. But in regards to defense, I like that. I actually like that, because when Marlon Humphrey gets to go back to doing what he does best, playing linebacker at the cornerback position. But you also can have someone that's also skilled along with him that also can make plays as well and help him out. Now, but since we're talking about secondary, now let me ask you this: how much trust do you have Brandon Stevens starting next year?
I actually have a lot of faith in Brandon Stevens to start next year. That's a great question, though. I think that safety is definitely another aspect that the Ravens will have to address, but I don't think it's a first round thing. Maybe they get a couple guys with Brandon Stevens, but I think Brandon Stevens has played I think he's played way better than it was expected for him to do. And that shows the Ravens are great at drafting secondary when they draft them somewhat early. The last time the Ravens took a player at pick 16, they took Marlon Humphrey.
Yep.
The Ravens wanted with all their might to not draft Ronnie Stanley. They didn't want Ronnie Stanley. Yeah. He was not their guy. Jalen Ramsey was their guy.
Yep.
But the Cowboys would not trade their pick, which they used on Ezekiel Elliott, to the Ravens, so then the Ravens could draft Jalen Ramsey.
And what the funny thing is, yes, we're recording on Tuesday. We're going off about the projected picks if the season was over. I know guys are probably like, oh, why y'all talking about getting rid of Brandon Stevens? No one's talking about getting rid of Brandon Stevens.
Yep.
Me personally, I'm talking about using his versatility. If Jordan Battle is available at number 16,
I was gonna bring him up. Jordan
I'm going
Battle.
for Jordan Battle. I'm sorry. Like, the dude is a playmaker and he's a hitter. I'm not going to say he's Ed Reed, but he definitely give me Brian Dawkins vibes. And right now, this defense needs a rejuvenation of being a smash mouth, team. I mean, Patrick Queen has definitely came alive, moving over to the weak inside linebacker position. And it's done him wonders for this season. And I hope to see him continue flourish for us in the purple and black. But adding someone over top in the secondary, it's almost going to be like that Devin Bush and Minka Fitzpatrick's relationship that they have in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we need that right now. And I feel like we're missing out on that. So, if Jordan Battle is available at number 16, I would go for him and use Brandon Stevens' versatility and have him at corner.
Yeah, Jordan Battle could be a great player if the Ravens could go after him. I think maybe if the Ravens fall and it's like, so my number one guy, if you guys can't tell, is Sauce Gardner. I've wanted him all year long. And luckily at the beginning of the year, it was like, oh yeah, he could very well be a top 10 pick. He still could be, but we'll see how he performs against Alabama. That's the big test. They got a lot of great wide receivers over at Alabama. But I want to bring up one more guy to talk about. This is a guy that I've seen a lot of Ravens fans get excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis, the big boy, the biggest of men out of Georgia, the monster defensive tackle. What are your thoughts on him? Because personally, I love Jordan Davis. I love his game. I don't really want the Ravens to draft him because I don't think his style fits what the Ravens need, because he just can't be out there every play.
Mm-hmm.
He's really just would be a replacement for Brandon Williams. And I think the Ravens need to shift away from the Brandon Williams super big up front, and they need to start going after those interior rushers, those guys like Matabike, those guys like Broderick Washington, rather than having the immovable objects like a Jordan Davis. What do you think about Jordan Davis? Because I think he's a great prospect. I think he'll be really solid in the NFL. But what do you think about him potentially in Baltimore?
Jordan Davis is going to be a specimen. He's going to be a freak of nature. I mean, let's be real. Let's be honest. That whole front at Georgia is something crazy. I love what he brings to the table. I love what he does. But honestly, he's going to be, in my opinion, I feel like he's going to be gone in the top 10. And Ravens flock, y'all may not like me for this. If Tyler Huntley is healthy for these next 2 games, I'm letting Tyler Huntley play to get his stock up, and I'm going to see about trading him. There's about 7 other teams before us that that needs a quarterback, and Tyler Huntley can be a solid starter. Me personally, I would be talking to the Washington football team. I would see about acquiring Jonathan Allen for a possible for Tyler Huntley if you don't want to give up that first round pick, because Jonathan Allen is very solid. He plays very good. He can bring a lot of nastiness and tenacity to that defense. But another young man that I feel like is going to slip late in the rounds, since we're talking about defensive guys that we can move around and that could be an edge rusher, is Savion Williams. Savion Williams is a DMV boy. He went to Wise High School. He full ride to University of Tennessee, then later transferred over to FAMU. Go Rattlesnakes. In that FAMU, he balled out. And I mean, like I said, he's an interior guy, but you also put him on the edge. And right now, if we keep a Wink Martindale, you need those type of players that is agile and versatile, to get at the quarterback. And Savion Williams has a motor that just doesn't stop. He reminds me of a Jahi Ward. I wish he didn't go to Jacksonville. I wish he was still with us, because we could have used some of that this year. But as far as Jordan Mack, man, he's going to be top 10 in my opinion. So, EDC has to be very strategic. Find a way, if possible, this is coming from a business aspect, Ravens flock. Find a way to trade off Tyler Huntley to maybe get another second pick. Or if a team is that desperate, go for a first round pick.
Absolutely. I think I think the way Tyler Huntley has played, he's going to generate interest, and that's huge for the Baltimore Ravens. In trying to get him somewhere that he can succeed, because I think the Ravens also want to give him an opportunity. But guys, I want to know what you guys think. Give us players to look out for, because obviously we're yet to do our full scouting and things like this. This is our way too early draft talking guys that we're bringing up. Yeah. Let us know who your number one is. Do you like our guys that we've brought up? If you think, hey, no, don't draft this guy, he is a red flag, tell us about the red flags, because otherwise we'll have to find them ourselves as we do more scouting and things like that. But it's always exciting to start talking about the draft, and just because we're talking about the draft this week doesn't mean we're giving up on the season. It's just we're tired about talking about injuries. Let's talk about something exciting, and something that's exciting is these young players, the future, and
10 picks.
Yes. Absolutely. We can't wait to really start deep diving and talking with all of you about all these draft picks. But let us know what you guys think. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content, and we'll see all of you again tomorrow.